Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I share with you some amazing recipes made with black-eyed beans. Beans cake, popularly known as kose in Ghana. Our main ingredient for making kose is black-eyed beans. I'm going to soak the beans for about 5 to 10 minutes to make it easier for me to remove the skin. You can remove the skin by using a mortar and a pestle to pound the beans so that the skin can separate from the beans. But in this video, I'll be using the blender to just crush the beans roughly. So I'll use the pulse mode repeatedly for about 5 times and then I will just pour it out of the blender. Just adding enough water to it, so I'll go and blend it and come back. So this is how it looks like after I've gone to use the blender to crush the beans. So with this, we can easily remove the skin. What I need to do now is to add enough water so that the skin will float on top, then I can strain it out. I'll do this repeatedly until I'm able to remove all the skin. Guys, can you see the skin? I've been able to remove enough. And here is our peeled beans. You might still see some with skin, but that's okay. So we are now going to soak this overnight. I'm going to soak it overnight because this beans is very hard. But if your beans is not that hard, you can just soak it for about some few hours and then you can go ahead and use it to make your kose. But I'll be leaving this overnight. So see you tomorrow. This is the next day and our beans is well soaked. I'm going to use the blender to blend this. Sometimes we send it to the grinding mill, but this one is just a small quantity, so I'll be using the blender to blend it and then I'll use it to make the kose. So I've added some pepper to it and onions. I'll blend everything together. Please just give me some seconds. I'll blend this right away and I'll be back. I've blended the beans. This is how it looks like. We are going to stir this continuously in order to incorporate some air into it so that when we fry it, it does not look flat. This is a process we must not skip if we want our kose to come out nicely. When blending the beans, we must add little water so that it does not get watery. Kose is usually taken with spiced millet porridge known as Hausa cocoa in Ghana. Right now, I'm using my hand to beat it so that it can rise very well. So here, I just want to check whether it's ready for us to fry. So when you put it inside water and it floats on the water, then it means it's ready. As we can see, it is floating. So it's ready for us to fry. Now that it's ready to fry, I'm adding some chopped onions to it and I'll also add salt to taste. After mixing this together, I'll taste to see if the salt is okay. If it's okay, I'll go ahead and fry, but if it's not okay, I'll add some salt to it and then I'll mix again and fry. So I go ahead and I put my saucepan on fire and then I'll add oil to it. It's now time to fry after the oil is hot. I'm just using a small ladle to scoop it into the oil. Guys, when you are frying kose, you don't move an inch because if you do, it will turn into burnt offering. I'm now flipping it to the other side. Please do me a favor by liking this video. Thank you. And let me know in the comment section what you will take this kose with. I will give it some more time to fry well. I like it very brown. Our kose is now ready, as you can see. So I'll be taking it out of the oil. Please, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, kindly click the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's look at our kose. Wow, just look at how it is. The inside is well cooked and the outside is crunchy, very delicious. Please let me know what you think about this kose in the comment section below. Bean stew is very delicious, and we'll be taking it with rice. We have our beans here, which we have soaked in water for about 1.5 hours. So I'll go ahead, rinse it, and then we'll boil the beans. I already have some water on fire, so I'll go ahead and transfer the beans into this saucepan of hot water. Our beans has been boiling for some time, so I'll go ahead and add salt to taste. These are all the ingredients we'll be using to make the stew, and our main ingredient is the beans, of course. So here we have our palm oil. The weather is hot, so it has already melted. And in here we have some fresh tomatoes, we have some onions, garlic and ginger, and we also have some fresh pepper. And here we have our smoked fish, and then we have our salt to taste, and we also have some powdered dry fish. We will now go ahead to prep our ingredients. So we are now going to blend the pepper, garlic, ginger and onions together. So we are chopping the ginger, the garlic and the onions into the blender, then we'll add some water to it and blend. We'll blend this and put it down for later use. So now I'm going to slice the onions and also chop the tomatoes. It's now time to check on our beans. So at this point, our beans is well cooked, it's very soft. We'll take it off the fire and start preparing the base of our stew. I'll now add some of the palm oil into this saucepan, then I'll allow it to get hot, then I'll add the onions and let it fry. The next thing I'll be adding is our blended garlic, ginger, onions and pepper. This has been frying for a while, so we'll now go ahead and add the tomatoes to it, the fresh tomatoes. We need to stir this occasionally to make sure it does not burn. I'm now adding our dry fish powder. I'm adding salt to taste. We must be careful with the salt because we've already added some salt to the beans. And finally, I'll be adding our smoked fish. I will then stir it gently into the stew. It's now time for us to add the beans to the stew, so that is what I'm doing right now. Look at our bean stew. It has already come together beautifully. So one last thing I'll be adding is onions. It is optional, you can decide not to add. So I'll add the onions and let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then our bean stew is ready. Our bean stew is now ready. You can enjoy this with yam, plantains, but we'll be enjoying ours with rice. To prepare our rice, I've already put water on fire and I've added salt to it. So I will allow this to come to a boil. Our water is boiling already, so go ahead and add our washed rice. I'll fetch some of the water down. We will add this back later if there is need for us to do so. We are just checking on the rice, but it is not ready, so go ahead and add some water to it, the water we fetched earlier. Our rice is now ready. It is very easy to cook rice. So this is our rice, and here we have our rice and bean stew served and ready for us to dive into. You all are invited. Please go ahead and give this a try, and believe me, you will enjoy it. It tastes so delicious and is simple to make. Thank you for watching. If you have watched to this point, please click the subscribe button and press the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. And do not forget to leave a comment below in the comment section. I'll be showing you how we made this delicious waakye with your favorite waakye stew. To make the waakye, we need some black eye beans. So these beans, I've soaked it for about an hour. So this is the beans I'll be using, and here I have my rice. So use the quantity that you prefer. And I have my millet leaves. I've set my fire already, and I'll be cooking both the waakye and the stew at the same time. So here is where I'll prepare the waakye. I've placed the pot on fire and I've added water to it. I'll go ahead and transfer the soaked beans into this pot. Add the millet leaves and some baking soda and cover it and allow it to boil. These are the ingredients I'll be using to make the stew. Here I have some gizzard. You can use any meat of your choice, vegetable oil, some chopped onions, fresh tomatoes and some fresh peppers, tomato paste, some chopped onions, garlic and ginger, curry powder, nutmeg, rosemary, anise seed, and our seasoning cube. To our onions, garlic, and ginger, I will add some rosemary and anise seed and a little water. Blend everything together. We shall be using parts of this to steam our meat and the remaining one for our stew. So I've already placed the gizzard on fire and I've added some salt to taste. I'll go ahead and add some of our blended onions, garlic, and ginger, some curry powder, and seasoning cube. Mix everything together, allow it to cook in its own juice for 5 minutes. Then I'll go ahead and add a little water to it for it to continue cooking. Our beans is already boiling, so I'll open it halfway so that it does not pour over. And our meat, I'll now go ahead and add a little water to it and allow it to continue cooking. While we are waiting for our gizzard to get done, I'll go ahead and blend the chopped tomatoes and pepper. I will blend it and set it aside for later use. Now let's check on our gizzard again. So I've checked on it. At this point our gizzard is ready, so we'll take it out of the stock. We'll be adding the stock to our stew later. Then the next thing for us to do is to fry the gizzard. But before that, let's not forget our beans, which is on fire. So our beans is almost done. It is not 100% cooked, but it is soft enough for us to add the rice. So at this point, I've already washed the rice. I'll go ahead and add the rice to the beans. Mix everything together, then add some salt to taste. I'll also take out our millet leaves and allow the rice and beans to cook together. Just to let you know that the ratio of rice to beans depends on your preference. So if you love more beans than rice, then you can go in with more beans, and vice versa. If you also want them to be equal, then you can go with that. Now back to our gizzard. It's time for us to fry the gizzard. So I've placed the pot on fire. I'm adding some vegetable oil to it. I'll allow it to get hot, then I'll go in with the gizzard. While waiting for the oil to get hot, I went ahead to stir the rice and beans just to ensure that it does not burn. Our gizzard is now ready. This place smells so amazing, so I'll go ahead and take it out of the oil, and then we'll proceed with the preparation of our stew. I'll be using the same oil I used to fry the gizzard for the stew, so I've gone in with my chopped onions. In fact, wache stew requires a lot of onions, so I'll allow this to fry for about 5 minutes. Then I'll go in with my tomato paste. It's time for us to check on our wache. Oh my, This wache looks so amazing. I love the color of the wache. It's not too purple and it doesn't also look white. It's just the perfect color. Our wache is not yet cooked, so we'll still cover it and allow it to continue cooking. At this point, there is no much fire underneath, so we'll allow it to cook on low medium heat until it is ready. Our tomatoes has been frying for about 5 minutes now, so go ahead and add the remaining blended garlic, onions and ginger. It's been 5 minutes after we added the blended garlic, onion and ginger. So we'll stir our stew one more time to make sure it does not burn, after which we'll go in with our blended tomatoes and pepper. I'm now adding the stock of our gizzard that we steamed, so I'll add the stock to it and some smoked fish. The smoked fish is optional, but I added that, and I'll also go in with curry powder and nutmeg, yes, to awaken the aroma of the stew. Remember, I haven't added salt to this, but our stock contained some salt, so I tasted and it was not enough, so I'm adjusting the salt, and then afterwards I'll allow this to simmer on low medium heat until we see oil settle on top. Checking on our wache again to see if it is ready, because we can't wait to consume this wache with our wache stew when it's ready as well. And when I checked, guess what? It is ready. So all we need to do now is to wait patiently for our stew to be ready. Then we'll go ahead and serve our wache. I will also be serving this wache with some shito. I've made a video on how to make shito. If you have not seen it, kindly check the link in the description below. We are checking on our stew again, hopefully for the last time, and at this point our stew is well fried. All we need to do is to add the fried gizzard. So I'm adding the fried gizzard into the stew, and after that we'll let it simmer for like 3 minutes and our stew is ready. It's now time for us to serve our wache in our clean plantain leaves, you know, right? I have some vegetables here as well, so I went in with the vegetables. Then some gari. What is wache without gari? In fact, I cannot enjoy wache without gari. What about you? Let me know in the comment section. Then we will top this up with our gizzard and our wache stew. Then finally our almighty shito. Tubani. Tubani is a common food enjoyed by all Ghanaians, especially those in the northern regions. We shall be making this tubani using beans flour and cassava flour. My cassava flour is ready, but I'll grind these beans to get the flour. So we've gone to grind the beans, and here we have our beans flour. This is the main ingredient for the tubani. I'll be adding a little of cassava flour. The cassava flour is optional. We shall also be making use of baking soda. You can use saltpeter. And here we have some sticks that I've already washed. We shall be lining this inside our pot. And these are the leaves we'll use to wrap the tubani. And we will also line some inside the pot so that the tubani does not get burnt. I've already washed these leaves, but I'm raising them one more time to make sure that it's very clean before we use them to wrap our tubani. So right now we are going to prepare our batter for the tubani. So I'm transferring some of the beans flour into this pot, after which I will add the cassava flour and the baking soda. Then I'll create a hole inside, add water and mix this to form a batter. We will not be adding much of the cassava flour because we don't want our tubani to be too starchy. In case you don't have access to a grinding mill where you can go and grind your beans to get the beans flour for your tubani, kindly let me know in the comment section. I'll show you how you can make tubani without beans flour. Please like the video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you. Right now our batter is well mixed and this is the consistency that we want. So you need to make sure that there are no lumps in the batter, or the lumps should just be minimal. So it's ready. We'll now go ahead and wrap this in our leaves. So the leaves that are a bit smaller in size, we'll be using 2 of them, and the ones that are bigger, we'll use 1 to wrap our tubani. So this is how we wrap the tubani, just like what you are seeing on the screen. This leaf is quite big, so I'll just be using one of it to wrap the tubani. So you cover it this way, then that way, and then you fold one side in that direction, and then after that you fold the other side, and that's it. You have wrapped your tubani. It's very simple. I'll go ahead and use the leaves to wrap the rest of the batter. I've finished wrapping the batter with the leaves. So we'll go ahead and prepare our pot and put them on fire. I'm going to line these sticks into the pot. You can do this before you place it on the fire, but my fire was ready, so I had to place the pot on it. I've added a little water inside the pot and I've lined the sticks. I'm also adding some of the leaves to make sure that the tubani does not get burnt when we start cooking it. I'm adding more water into the pot. This water will help steam the batter until it is well cooked for us to have our tubani. I will then transfer the batter that we've wrapped into the pot and cover it and allow it to steam until it is ready. I'm using some of the leaves to cover it, and then I'll also cover it with a sack. Then finally we'll cover the pot with the lid. This will help trap the steam to cook our tubani. After we cover it, we'll allow it to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't take much time to cook. This is after 20 minutes and we are checking on our tubani. So check and see if it is ready. And it is not advisable to be opening the pot frequently when it's cooking because we need that steam to cook it very well. Our tubani is ready. As we can see, it is ready. It is not sticky to my fingers. This shows that it is ready. So go ahead and prepare our oil. We are going to let it get hot, then we add some onions. Allow the onions to fry until it is brown. Then we'll use this to enjoy our tubani with some pounded salt and pepper. Our onion and oil is now ready, so go ahead and take this off and then we serve our tubani. Look at how lovely the tubani looks. I'll go ahead and use a knife to cut this into the sizes I prefer. You can go ahead and eat it this way, but I prefer to cut them. Then I will sprinkle some pounded salt and pepper on it. Then our oil that we fried with some onions. If you have some beans flour, please go ahead and give this recipe a try, and trust me, you'll come back and testify. If you have watched to this point and you haven't subscribed, kindly click the subscribe button to subscribe and press the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. And please do not forget to leave a comment down below letting us know what you think about this tubani recipe. See you in our next video. Bye. You all are invited.